Jim Henderson's Black and Gold Rewind is sponsored by Nissan.
Edmonds, he's got some running room left side as the first down, scampering down the sideline inside the 10, 5, touchdown.
The tide turns for the Saints, and now the Who Dat Nation is on board, looking to extend that winning streak to 8 games. The voice of the Saints, Jim Henderson, joins us by phone with his Black and Gold Rewind. Good morning, Jim. Should we have seen this coming?
Well, I think perhaps in some ways, John, although not to the extent that yesterday resulted in, but you know, you looked at the way the Bills played against the Jets on that Thursday night embarrassment in New York, and they allowed 194 yards rushing and 3 rushing touchdowns. So that probably suggested to the Saints that they could do something similar, and they even surpassed it. So the Bills have a lot of problems, obviously, in a lot of areas based on the way they played yesterday. But I think it was suggested to the Saints through looking at that film study that they could impose their will on the Bills. They certainly did, and not just in the running game. They imposed their will on the Bills in every facet of the game.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you look at, you know, as we look at Drew Brees here on the screen passing, we're so accustomed, and then he runs in for the touchdown instead. We're so accustomed to seeing this, you know, air Brees. But at the same time, doesn't having a running game help the passing game, as they always say?
Oh, definitely. I mean, if you want to, the first thing in football is run the football, stop the run defensively. And the Bills couldn't do that in either area. If you can run the football, it covers up a lot of things, and obviously it does make your passing game a lot better. You know, I've seen some suggestions. Well, Drew Brees may be on the downside of his career. He's really not throwing the ball downfield as often as he used to. My answer is he doesn't have to. You know, why throw the ball downfield and put it at risk when you've got Alvin Kamara and you've got Mark Ingram and you got Michael Thomas operating over the middle of the field and catching every pass that he needs to move the chain. So I don't think you can ignore this team any longer. I mean, I think all of us in the media are a bit skeptical about what we're seeing. Certainly, we still remember that 2-game losing streak that opened the season, but there's too much evidence to the contrary that this is a really good football team gaining confidence every week.
What is the big difference? Because, I mean, when they were 0-2, they didn't look like they could beat anybody.
Well, I don't think anybody truly has the answer to that. I think staying the course, they've become better communicators defensively, and I think it's just growing confidence. I mean, confidence comes from displayed ability. That's what Sean Payton always says, and now they are displaying that ability. They're trusting in one another, and I think it's just a growing confidence more than anything. I mean, it's hard to ignore the fact that in the 7-game winning streak, they've won by an average of 20 points per game. I don't think you need too much more evidence than that this is a dominant football team that's ascending every week.
You know, we've got about 20 seconds left here. Just how far do you think they can go?
Well, based on what we've seen over the last 7 games, I think they could go as far as all the way to Minnesota for the Super Bowl. I mean, that's a bold statement to make, especially after the first 2 games. But as I just said, there's too much evidence to the contrary that this is a really good football team whose record suggests they belong with the elite of the NFL, and they prove it week after week through a 7-game winning streak.
Absolutely. That's the thing about it, Jim, is you know, it's a bold statement, but not as bold as it would have been, I guess, a few weeks ago. Jim Henderson, thank you as always. You can catch more of Jim's thoughts on the Saints today on Fox 8, his commentary at 5, the Black and Gold Review show at 10:35, and also your questions can be sent in using the Final Word feature on the Final Play app. 8-8.
The Saints have placed running back Daniel Lasco on injured reserve, meaning his season is over.
Yep, here's Juan Kincaid.
His season may be over, but Daniel Lasco's NFL career is expected to resume, hopefully as soon as next season. That's the good news. The even better news is that Lasco avoided any severe injuries following this hit on a Bills special teams player on Sunday. He suffered a bulging disc, and after being stretchered off the field, he was said to have movement in all of his extremities. Today, head coach Sean Payton said Lasco's situation could have been a lot worse.
Yep, he's got a bulging disc, and it's a procedure they'll do that will put him out for the year, but won't be career-threatening. You know, he's flew home with us last night on the plane, and the prognosis is good. You know, I think that's really the latest. You know, we're fortunate that it wasn't more severe. You know, I know his teammates and I know everyone, coaching staff, all of us felt relieved that he was able to come back on the plane with us and can have this surgery ASAP, probably within the week.
Lasko did tweet out a thank you today for all of the support and prayers. He said, "I will get through this and come back better than before. Believe that. Love all y'all. Hashtag Whodat." And we would like to use the Final Play app, for you to use the Final Play app to make your voice heard. Submit a question using that final word feature on the app, and tune in tonight at 10:35 for Jim Henderson's Black and Gold Review show. You'll hear what the voice of the Saints has to say about everything Saints over the Bills and the next game against Washington. Coming up later in sports, though, can the Saints keep the winning going? Drew Brees certainly thinks so, and he'll tell us why. And we'll take you to Baton Rouge as LSU gets set to face Tennessee and their interim head coach.
All right, Juan, see you then. And Jim Henderson calls the team's most recent victory a beatdown. He'll join us with his commentary coming up later in this newscast.
So hard to do.
We're on a good mood today.
I'm speechless, yes.
I've never been so relaxed after a Saints game.
But you're taking all the credit, right?
It just ended, and I was like, what just happened?
You're taking all the credit?
No way am I taking all the credit. Those Saints should be taking all the credit.
Say the biscuit?
The biscuit is 7-0. So
Still going.
Everyone said,
They dominated.
Where was the biscuit last year? I said, in storage.
Yeah, yes.
I couldn't find it till game 3.
That was about as dominating as they can get, right?
You know, and for not the first time this season, I'm saying, I don't know if I've ever seen anything quite like that in the Saints game. The typical NFL game features thrusts and parries, advances and retreats, one team rising and shining while the other is deflated and dull, only to swap positions as momentum changes. Yesterday, there was none of that. Yesterday was a beatdown by the visitors that could hardly have been more thorough or convincing. You come into the home stadium in the coldest weather of the season to face the only team in the AFC that hasn't lost on its home turf and was healthy while coming off 10 days rest, and you do that to them? Ingram and Kamara, the twin terrors, each rushing for over 100 yards and 4 touchdowns between them. 6 in all on the ground. Drew Brees throwing for his fewest yards of the season and no touchdowns, and the Saints winning by 37 points? Really? The Bills going 8 straight possessions without crossing midfield? While the Saints' offense waxed consistent, so did the Bills' defense consistently wane. While the Saints' confidence swelled, the Bills contracted. As the Saints steadfastly and relentlessly imposed their will, the crowd shrank faster than Tyrod Taylor's quarterback rating. And that was some serious shrinkage. I noted the stands beginning to empty with 8:24 left in the third quarter. Only a few thousand frigid fans were still around to see Trey Edmonds bring a climactic end to the Saints' scoring orgy to make it 47-3, which prompted the Bills' most popular play of the day, a naked bootleg. He was eventually brought down after even more Buffalo missed tackles. He was ecstatically proud of his forward progress, but by then we had all seen enough. No one, thankfully, called for a measurement.
Gosh. you did go there. That's pretty funny. Nice
Just
face.
reporting what I saw.
Yeah, you are reporting it. Thank you for not going into too many details, Jim. What, I mean, have you ever seen anything like that? I'm not
I've
talking
never
about
seen anything like that.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the game.
Oh, we're still talking about the streaker.
Yeah.
She's talking about the streaker. You're talking about the game. Which is more important
I'm
here?
sticking to football, yes.
I don't think I've ever seen such total domination from beginning to end, as I tried to say in a part of that. They never let them get into the game whatsoever. And we said earlier, it's their most consistent and most impressive performance of the season, and it seems to be getting better and better.
Who's the best team in the NFC?
Everybody would say Philadelphia. I mean, they're on a 7-game winning streak as well.
Saints?
Well, the Saints are the 3rd seed in the NFC right now behind the Vikings, who are 2nd because of the head-to-head tiebreaker against the Saints. But you look around the NFL now and what people are saying about them, and there seems to be a national recognition that this might be, if not the hottest team in the NFC, perhaps the best team in the NFL, and certainly a Super Bowl contender. Now, we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves, but those comparisons continue to be made with some validity.
She was looking at the January calendar earlier, just saying.
I was looking at the playoff calendar, and wait, when is the Super Bowl
when is
again?
That?
I know.
It's
Don't
crazy.
get ahead,
one game at a time, right?
One game at a time.
Well, we're excited. Can't help it.
Thanks a lot, Jim.
All right, Jim does return tonight for this week's Black and Gold Review. That's when you have a chance to get your questions about the Saints answered. Use our Final Play app to submit a question and look for Jim's answers tonight after Fox 8 News at 10.
Jim Henderson's Black and Gold Review is sponsored by your Southern Quality Ford dealer, built Ford tough. And 2017 Nissan Titan. With America's best bumper-to-bumper limited truck warranty, Nissan Titan. Take on any job. And Slidell Memorial Hospital in partnership with Oshner.
First and goal from the 1. Handoff left side and in for the touchdown. Standing up is Mark Ingram. You can hear the Who Dat chant in the background. Daniel handing it off Edmonds. He's got some running room left side as the first down. Scampering down the sideline inside the 10. 5. Touchdown.
Who dat? Nobody. And then there were seven straight wins by the Black and Gold. I guess they are for real.
Looks that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, welcome in, everyone. Alongside the voice of the Saints, Jim Henderson, I'm Juan Kincaid. 47-10. Jim, I come to you for advice all the time. How are they going to top this?
Well, I'm not sure they can, nor do I think they necessarily have to.
Yeah.
I think they can play worse than this and still beat a lot of teams.
47 points on the road in a place where they were undefeated. Very impressive. Headline number 1, let's get right to it. Buffalo bulldozed.
Yes, by the running game of the Saints. 298 rushing yards, franchise's most since '86. 6 rushing touchdowns. That's a franchise record. Only the 10th time in NFL history that's occurred. 5th team in the NFL ever with 295-plus yards and 6-plus touchdowns, 6 or more touchdowns. They're running the ball now more than they have any time in the Sean Payton era. The only time it was close to this, 2009, the Super Bowl year.
They haven't had this kind of 1-2 punch, I don't think, ever under Sean Payton. They had some good running backs, Reggie Bush, Pierre Thomas, but never a combination of 2 guys. But if you put one in the game, you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, and Kamara gives you so much versatility, being split out as a wide receiver. He runs inside, he runs outside, he's elusive, he's fast, he's a great receiver. He's Reggie Bush with the more ability to run inside.
It's been fantastic. Let's get to headline number 2. Dink and dunk funk. And we're talking about their quarterback, Tyrod Taylor. Not what we thought he was, at least yesterday.
Captain check down. I thought the Saints had a great plan. They really took LaShawn McCoy out of the game pretty early after he had some early success on their first drive. But Taylor needs to see open receivers. He has to have receivers coming open. The Saints played him tough in the secondary, didn't show him a quick look to get rid of that ball. They don't have a lot of down-the-field targets, so he was more than happy to just check the ball down or run with it. He's not a guy that's going to throw many interceptions. Consequently, he's not going to make many plays downfield.
I thought the challenge for the Saints would be to keep him in the pocket, and I really, Jim, thought that he was a more dynamic quarterback than we saw on Sunday. Maybe it was a bad day, an off day by him, but he was not the quarterback I thought he was, a guy that can be dangerous outside the edges.
I felt the same way. You know, we don't see him very often. You don't see him on TV. He was smaller than I thought he was. He's listed at 6'1". He doesn't look to be 6'1". He wasn't as elusive as we thought he was, and he certainly didn't show off any arm strength downfield, and the Bills fans were on him big time about the fact that he wouldn't try to make any plays downfield and relied so much there on number 25, LaShawn McCoy.
Let's get to headline number 3, Allen wrench adjustments. Here we're talking about Dennis Allen and what he's done when this team has started to slow out the blocks on defense, which they seemingly have every week.
Yeah, McCoy had an early big run, and after that they shut him down. We've seen that against the Packers. We saw it against the Bears. He seems to be able to make quick adjustments, see what they're trying to do to him, adjust particularly at halftime and in the second half. And I think Dennis Allen's just done a great job.
Jim, Kelvin Benjamin was basically making his debut for the Bills. Saints have known him for a long, long time, having played at Carolina. Targeted 3 times in the first drive, barely at all the rest of the game. Just kind of shows you the adjustment they made. And Marshawn Lattimore didn't have the assignment on that all the time. Sometimes it was Ken Crawley. Yeah, and, you know, I don't think Kelvin Benjamin's ever going to be the receiver he first was when he came in the league before he tore up his knee. They got rid of him in Carolina because they wanted more speed downfield. He certainly didn't show like he still possesses it yesterday. And he's just going to be primarily, I think, a possession receiver for the Bills, if that. Dennis Allen, the job he's done with this defense, I mean, we could talk about it every week because it seems like they do something different every week. This time, they don't let him cross the field 8 times in this game in the second. The job that he's done as a coordinator may get him an opportunity as a head coach again one day, you think? I think he's pretty much rehabilitated his reputation so far this year, especially after those first 2 weeks.
when they were looking to be, again, either the worst or the second worst defense in the NFL, as they've been for the last 3 years. And now it's one of the strengths of the team. I don't think anybody saw that coming, but he's had great plans. He's got people playing with a lot of enthusiasm. Lattimore's made a huge difference. Crawley's one of the better cornerbacks the Saints have ever had, and that secondary has really tightened up. Let's get to headline number 4, and this is what we were concerned about. Probably the only game outside of Green Bay, the outdoor audition. How would this team play in sub-50-degree temperatures? Yesterday it was in the 40s when the game started. Overcast, no rain, but they passed with flying colors, and maybe a sign of what could come. Yeah, and I think they're sick of that, too. I think they feel like they've disproven that down through the years, that cold playoff game in Philadelphia that they won. I think it kind of sticks in their craw a little bit, and this is part of the way the season has gone for the Saints. You know, things are breaking in their direction. This was a perfect day for middle of November in upstate New York. I mean, once you get warmed up, I would think as a player, you love these conditions. No rain, no wind, no freezing cold. You didn't see like the cold made any impact whatsoever on the players holding on to the football, so they caught another break. Hopefully the last cold weather game they'll have to play this season. You get the feeling that if it was rain, if it was snowing or whatever up in Buffalo, that this team is built so differently now, leading with the run as opposed to pass. Maybe they can handle it better now. I would think so, yeah. More balance. Don't have to win through the air. Don't have to win with Drew Brees putting it up 40 times in a game. Don't have to score 35 points with an offensive aerial attack to stay in a game with an opponent. It's been fun to watch so far. All right, coming up, some of Mike Thomas's biggest games have come in the outdoors this season, including his first 100-yard performance on Sunday in Buffalo. Sean Vazan takes a look at the routes he's running in year 2. And the NFC playoff picture is clogged up at the top right now, but the Rams are about to go through a gauntlet that includes a visit from the Black and Gold. We'll make sense of it all. The postseason, that road is going to be tough. Stay with us.
You're watching the Jim Henderson Black and Gold Review.
Welcome back in. Every week, Sean Vazan walks up on this set and opens our eyes to something that we probably missed in the game. Tonight, he's going to do it again with Mike Thomas.
First off, hello, gentlemen. No gloves today.
Well done.
Hands are nice and good.
He was a little soft up there, wasn't he, Jim?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, you know.
All right, the Buffalo air was cold. You know, it was not cold, was Mike Thomas. If I had to choose one word to describe Saints wide receiver Michael Thomas, it would be complete. There is not a route on the route tree he cannot run. Sunday was his most diverse day yet. Thomas finished with 9 catches on 8 different routes. The Bills simply could not guard Mike.
His first route was the one he's known for, the slant on the Saints' opening offensive play. Lined up on the right, Thomas takes 2 steps up and hits the slant. The defender was playing off, which made it an easy completion. That route came again later in the quarter. This time he caught it in traffic for a 3-yard gain. His second route was the out route. Lined up on the right side slot, Thomas runs 4 yards and hits the out towards the sideline. He caught the ball and gained 11 yards. His third route, the screen. Simply put, he just stays at the line of scrimmage, catches the pass, and follows his blockers for yardage. On this play, he didn't make the first, but there was a face mask penalty, which moved the sticks. His fourth route, the dig, or the deep in route. Here, Thomas is split out wide right and runs 14 yards and cuts in. He finds the soft spot in the zone, and Brees connects with him for 22 yards. His fifth route, the stop. Here, Thomas motions out wide right, runs up the field like he's going for a deeper route, but stops at 5 yards. Brees connects with him, and he gains 10 yards and a first down. His sixth route, the over route. Lined up on the left inside this time, Thomas is going to run on an angle and slice through the Bills' defense and cross over to the opposite hash mark. This was executed to perfection as Brees connected with Thomas for a 28-yard gain on a 3rd and 4. His seventh route, the fade. Lined up solo on the left, Thomas is going to release inside, go up the field, and then fade to the sideline. This was all trust. The coverage was there. But Brees trusted Thomas to win the matchup and come down with the catch, which he did for 21 yards. And finally, his eighth route, the fade stop, which was an absolute savage call by Sean Payton. The only pass the Saints threw in the fourth quarter was on a 4th and 3, up 34 points. The route is simple. Start with a fade, then when the defender turns his shoulder, stop on a dime. Thomas ran it flawlessly. Brees put it up, and Thomas came down with it for a 5-yard gain and a first down.
So even on a day where the ground game clearly took over, Michael Thomas still found a way to shine. He's becoming one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, and dare I say, one of the best wide receivers Sean Payton has had. Almost, if you watch him play in his second year, think Julio Jones of Atlanta. He's got a similar skill set. So, Michael Thomas, great days ahead.
Yeah, I love what he does on third down. He's so reliable. What's he converted? 38 catches for first downs, tied for second in the NFL. The way he extends his hands, extends his arms. He's got the strongest hands of any receiver I think I've ever seen. You could see evidence of that when he's battling two receivers or two defenders who are right there with him. He just snatches it away from him.
I mean, he's so physical. He attacks that ball when it's up in the air. It's his when he goes up to get it.
When you look at the stats, 59 catches, third best in the NFL, 662 yards already, that's eighth best, 12 catches for 20-plus yards, 38 catches, first downs. You mentioned that. First 100-yard game of the season, which is amazing to me. Jim, what presses you more, his route running or his hands?
I think it's that, along with his physicality. You know, he'll come over the middle fearlessly. He runs that slant so well. He knows, for the most part, you're going to get tattooed by a safety. It doesn't bother him whatsoever. To me, it reminds me a lot of Marcus Colston as well, but probably with a little bit more physicality.
Yeah, look, he's physical. But, you know, when he first got in the league, the Saints just kept pounding him with that slant route, but they've expanded his route tree, and he's taken, you can tell he's worked on the routes as well, because every route there's a physical element to it, and he's working on his breaks, and he goes up and gets the ball. Really unlike anyone I've ever seen, at least that's ever worn black and gold.
Is he a complete receiver, Sean, in that every team knows the slant's coming? That's what he does best. But you saw the Bills playing off early on. They're playing 10 yards off of him.
There's off coverage. He kills him for 13 yards. There's press coverage. He boxes him out and gets inside, still breaks a tackle, gets 8-9 yards. So he's becoming one of those weapons that's just, he's incredibly hard to defend. It's like his Twitter handle says, can't guard Mike, because the guy can do it all.
Is he better than Marcus Colston was at this point in Marcus's career?
I would say so, yes. Yeah, just thinking back to what Marcus was when he came into the league, I think so. For one thing, he's always been a wide receiver. Remember, Marcus Colston came to the team as a tight end for the most part and had to learn the position. He's already got it down. And, you know, you've got, in the absence of Willie Snead, somebody you need to keep moving the chains, and he's kind of taken on that role. They've got such great receivers now coming out of the backfield, and that's why Drew Brees had completed 80% of his passes for 2 straight weeks and is on track to have his highest percentage completion of the season in his career.
And one thing he has in common with Colston, trust of Drew Brees. Yeah. Drew Brees trusts him in crucial moments.
That's a big part of it. Submitted by our final play out. We got a question for you tonight from one of our viewers. Final play out using the final word feature. This comes from Keith Linville of Mandeville. He says, what is the real story with Coby Fleener? Is it bad hands, no blocking, not hustling, or not knowing the playbook, maybe a combination of all 4? He sure has been disappointing, and I can't help but think how good our offense could be with a dominating tight end. Everyone misses Jimmy Graham around here, but what you have in this team, and tight end-wise, the guys are doing well. And Fleener's not giving you what you thought he would, but overall, they're doing okay.
He was only on for 22% of the snaps yesterday, and it was largely because he's not the blocker out of the 3 tight ends. It's Hooman along with Josh Hill, who are primarily the assets in the blocking game when you're running the football. He was only targeted 1 time, didn't have a reception. I don't think his body language is the greatest. And, yeah, he's been a disappointment, but fortunately, they haven't had to have him make a big impact.
Well, there's a couple things here. A, when you sign a free agent, you have a vision. And in some years, like this year, that vision comes to fruition right away. Sometimes you have a vision, it just doesn't work out within your system. They envision him to be the guy that can run the Jimmy Graham routes. He just doesn't run the same routes Jimmy Graham used to run. Also, the offense has evolved now, okay? You don't have the explosive wide receivers on the edge that you had. You have Mike Thomas. You don't have Brandon Cooks, and Willie Snead's kind of floundering a little bit. So you don't have, the explosive guys getting up the field, opening up those seams for a guy like Fleener. Also, they're running the ball more. Sean Payton loves Alvin Kamara as a weapon out of the passing game, and I think that's kind of what's happened here. And he's worked himself up to maybe average as a blocker, but he's not the greatest blocker in the world. So that's why he's not getting the snaps. And if you don't get the snaps, you're not going to get the touches.
And it seems more and more, you look around the NFL, the tight end has got increasing prominence elsewhere. More of them, doing more things, being more versatile. For the Saints, it's exactly in the opposite direction. For the most part, they're only in there to block and don't contribute much to the passing game whatsoever.
All right, Sean, stick around. Much more to get to. Some more questions here on the show coming up. But also coming up, the top 4 teams in the NFC have combined to win 23 straight games. We'll examine each of the division leaders as the Who Dat Nation starts peaking further and further ahead towards playoff positioning. Stay with us.
You're watching the Jim Henderson Black and Gold Review.
Breeze in the pistol. Sproles behind him. Play action fake to him. Breeze rolls right. Pumps. Looks over the secondary. Throws it. And it's caught by Lance Moore. Battling his way to the goal line and in. McCown puts it down. Graham has it on its way. Send us to Seattle, Shane.
Come on, Shane.
Shane Graham, and he did.
Yeah.
Of course, things didn't work out that well in Seattle, but that was a great night. I was so concerned. Remember, they were expecting a high of 5 degrees for that game. It was a lot better than that, but it was still darn cold.
That was one of the coldest weeks I've ever had in my life.
We must have had
game night was
5
pretty
pairs
good.
of gloves that day.
By the way, that was January 2015. The Saints won that cold game. That's 2014. They won that cold game in Philadelphia on a Saturday night. Question is, will the black and gold, have to go through the Eagles again? Time to evaluate the NFC contenders. And first, we want to check out the standings. This is where things stand right now. The Saints are the 3rd best team record-wise in the league. Eagles 8-1, Vikings 7-2, and of course they beat the Saints to open the season. They're the Saints at number 3. The Rams, who the Saints will see just a couple weeks, they're number 4 at 7-2 as well. So, Sean, start us off with the Eagles. What do you see?
A lot of good things. Number 2 in scoring offense, number 10 in scoring defense. They've won 7 straight games. Their only loss was a 27-20 loss, I believe, to Kansas City. They're led by Carson Wentz. And similar to the Saints, they got hot, and it just kept rolling. And the Wentz wagon is rolling. He's one of the contenders for MVP this year. They got a good defense. They got a familiar face in that defense, and Malcolm Jenkins. This team's on a roll. And we know, look, that game the Saints won a playoff game in Philly, but that is not an easy place to play. So if the Saints would have to travel there, that would be tough, especially if this team is the number 1 overall seed.
I think the Eagles have the benefit of being in a very weak division. Obviously, no Zeke with Dallas right now. The Giants are a dumpster fire, and the Redskins, you don't know what you're going to get from those guys. No. So they are benefiting from having a very weak division. Jim, you've got the Rams now.
Yeah, you look at the Rams, what a turnaround. Last year they were the lowest scoring team in the NFL. This year they're the highest scoring team. I think you'd have to say Sean McVay is the odds-on coach halfway through the season to be the coach of the year. They're the highest scoring team in the NFL at 32.9 points per game. As I mentioned, we're the lowest scoring team. They had never won more than 7 games under Jeff Fisher. They've won 7 already under Sean McVay. But you talk about a home field advantage. They don't have one.
No.
They were 5-0 on the road, 1-2 at home before winning yesterday against Washington to climb to 2-2. So, this is a team that if they have to be at home, they're probably at a disadvantage.
Sean, they don't have many fans, but they don't really care.
They just keep on winning.
Short-timers.
And look, Sean McVay is the difference, right? I mean, look what a difference a head coach makes. And not just him. I believe Wade Phillips is their defensive coordinator. They got the number 4 scoring defense in the NFL right now. And Jared Goff looks like a totally different player. The people that were calling him a bust after 1 year in that offense last year, absolutely crazy. So that game in 2 weeks is going to be really something out west with the Saints and Rams.
Okay, the other team will be the Minnesota Vikings, and to me, they're the one team I think will fall back to the pack because of their head coach. Mike Zimmer can't decide on who he wants his quarterback to be. Right now, Case Keenum, in a backup fill-in role for Teddy Bridgewater, has been fantastic, including beating the Saints early in the season. And now Mike Zimmer saying he doesn't know he knows who his quarterback is going to be for the Rams game next Sunday, but he's not telling. Why would you throw that kind of controversy in the football team that's 7-2 right now, has a fantastic defense, and an offense that's doing enough under a quarterback who's got confidence? Why would you even mess with that recipe?
Well, it's a great opportunity for Teddy Bridgewater to resume his career. That's a very emotional day that he was at least back in uniform yesterday. Maybe he feels some sort of pressure to play at Teddy Bridgewater. And he has a very short leash on Case Keenum, knowing that Bridgewater deserves to be back. Whether he's physically able to or not, we don't know.
Do you put the individual over the team?
Yeah, but look, the Vikings are an interesting case because they beat the Saints head-to-head. So identical records. The Vikings are going to get that higher seed. And I'm just looking at the way this thing's stacking up here. Well, it sure would be a good year to have that first-round bye for the Saints.
You're right about that. Let's look at the playoff picture as far as who plays who over the next 3 to 4 weeks. You've got the Rams at the Vikings, Saints at the Rams in Week 12, Eagles at Rams in Week 14. Of course, as I mentioned, the Vikings beat the Saints in Week 1. The Eagles have the luck of the draw. They don't play the Saints or the Vikings, and they have a weak division. So it's going to be interesting to see how things kind of pan out down the stretch here. All right, Sean, thank you for being with us once again. Very nice job. He always enlightens us with something very, very good. The last 2 Washington meetings were headlined by Rob Ryan's firing. Remember that guy? And Robert Griffin III's rookie debut. What's in store for this week? We've got your first preview coming up.
football. That's all I want to talk about.
The game isn't over until you've seen the final play.
I'm not going to say it, but I don't have to say it.
Such a long road and long journey ahead of us.
Get in-depth analysis after every Saints game.
Penalty on the Saints defense proved to be costly. Do you see any position battles that kind of stand out?
Final play, Sunday night at 10:30, only on Fox 8. Sponsored by Southern Quality Ford and Nissan. You're watching the Jim Henderson Black and Gold Review.
Faking. Andre Carter missed him. Breeze throws. It's up for grabs. Was it picked off? Kareem Moore's got the ball. It's an interception. And then it's taken away by Robert Meacham. Meacham goes in for a touchdown.
Robert Meacham, 2009, on the way to a Super Bowl title. That made him 12-0. Meacham talked in the Dome a couple weeks ago about that being the highlight of his career with the Saints. So they've got Washington coming up this weekend. You never know which Washington team is going to show up. That's the problem with them.
Well, they went out to Seattle, 2 weeks ago, and won out there with almost nobody left on their offensive line. A complete surprise. And then they lay an egg yesterday, losing to Minnesota 38-30. A lot of the players said afterwards they were flat, hadn't had a good week of practice, didn't have any sort of enthusiasm. They gave up 28 points and 4 touchdowns in the first half against the Vikings. It was a hole they could not climb out of. They're 4-5. They're 4 games behind the Eagles. Case Keenum riddled them yesterday. 4 touchdowns, threw 2 interceptions, but also for 304 yards. And Kirk Cousins is going to take good care of the football. He's only thrown 5 interceptions on the season. One interesting note, if this thing gets close, they've got a rookie kicker named Nick Rose. He is their, speaking of the Redskins, or Washington, depending on what you prefer.
Depending on what you prefer.
He is their 22nd kicker in the last 24 seasons. They've gone through him even faster than Sean Payton.
The only reason to cheer for Washington, Fat Rob Kelly, former Tulane Greenie, he's their running back over there. And Ryan Grant, forgot about him, the wide receiver.
Well, Rob Kelly's hurt.
Rob Kelly's hurt.
He hurt his leg yesterday.
Well, there you go. And that's straight from the source, right? The horse's mouth. All right, Jimmy, for Jim, Sean, and everyone at Fox 8, I'm Juan Kincaid. Thanks for watching. Our next newscast coming your way at 4:30 in the morning. Hope you enjoy it. Have a good night.
From Fox 8 Sports, this has been the Jim Henderson Black and Gold Review.